Have you ever wondered how little it can cost for you to start up a thriving e-commerce business? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can start an e-commerce business on a minimal investment. I'm James Eardley, a multiple e-commerce business owner and also a coach, and I inspire and mentor other people to start their own location-independent, thriving dropshipping businesses. With years of experience now under my belt growing e-commerce businesses, I'm going to distill into this video today a simple 5-step method that you can follow to get a business set up with minimal investment. And if I was going to start again and I knew I had a small budget and I had nothing that I have today, these are exactly the steps that I'd be taking to get started again. So if you're ready for a step-by-step guide and some useful tips and tricks from somebody that's been there before, then stick with me to the end of the video. And if you enjoy it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. So the first thing to say is that I know that starting a business with a limited budget is not necessarily a setback. It actually worked as fuel in my favor. Knowing that I didn't have a lot of money to fall back on, it made me hungry and so keen to make sure it worked. And I know if you're in that position where you don't have a huge investment, you don't have thousands upon thousands waiting for you to invest into a business, then that hunger and the sort of need and desire for it to work will actually work in your favor so you can get things up and running. And what I found that I had in the back of my mind the whole time while building my first e-commerce business was that this has to work. And having that in the back of your mind gives you the fire in your belly that I think everyone needs if they're going to start a successful business. So step 1 is to commit, vision, and take action. So the first thing before anything is that you need to commit to growing a business, and you need to realize that there's going to be some learning, there's going to be some hard work involved to get you up and running. No matter how you start, there's always going to be hard work, but if you know you've got little investment, often we need to make up for that little investment with time and hard work and effort that we'll put in. So with any business, any dropshipping, e-commerce, or any business venture, there's going to be hard work to get it off the ground. But if you go in knowing that there's going to be some work involved, then you'll be so much more prepared when you realize that there's going to be extra work involved to get things up and running. So go with that mindset. Then the next sort of part of this step is to visualize what you want to create. And don't just think about what you want to create in a month's time. Have a long-term approach. Think about how do you want this business to look in 5 years' time. Something that's been really clear in Alex Hormozy videos that I've been recently listening to is that he always says that you can find out how wealthy a person is based on how long of a time span they judge success over. So don't think about how you're going to be successful in a month. Think about where you're going to be in 5 years. That does two things. It gives you huge visions, big goals, because you can achieve a lot in 5 years. And it also teaches you to realize that you should delay gratification. So don't think about where you're going to be in a month's time or a week's time. Think about where do you want to be? What's the vision of your life in 5 years' time when you've got a location-independent lifestyle business set up where you're selling products from anywhere in the world? How much money are you making? What are you doing? Where are you living? Who are you with? Have that vision in mind, and that will push you through all of the next steps that I'm going to take you through that are more tactical. Then the next phase of that first step is to start by taking action. So from any content you consume, always turn it into action that you can take that gets you closer to your goals. Once you've committed, once you visualize what you're going to achieve, take action immediately. Use that momentum, use that excitement to take the first action. And the first action that you need to take when you're starting an e-commerce business is to make sure you have a limited company set up. You can just go to the gov.uk website to register a limited company. And the second thing is to have a business bank account in place. And I recommend using Tide Digital Bank. Have a business bank account, have a limited company, then you've got all of the structure you need to build a business on top. Now, in the spirit of this video being all about minimizing cost, setting up a limited company is something you can do for £15 or around that price. And setting up a business bank account doesn't need to cost you anything. So you can get that set up. And in one afternoon, in a few hours, you can have those set up and you've got a perfect foundations, perfect structure for you to build a thriving business on top of that. Step 2 now is to follow a step-by-step guide and surround yourself by a community. A low-cost way to do that, if you've got really very, very little money, is actually the Dropship Unlocked Launchpad community. It's a community of thousands of members that are also working on building an e-commerce business, so you can get around those people. I'm also a member of this community and I help people out where I can. So it's a good way of getting around people that are building businesses and have already built e-commerce businesses. The way to access that community is very low cost. If you pick up a copy of Lewis's book, which is called The Home Turf Advantage, and you can find the link to that book in the description, That will cost you about £7 or £8 to pick that book up. That will give you access to the community. And also within that book, you've got a step-by-step guide of how to build a thriving e-commerce business. The benefits of that are massive. You don't need to guess the strategy for you to go from where you are today to having an e-commerce business. You can just follow the steps that have been proven time and time again to work. Also, having a community is that support, it's that accountability that people need. And I know that I certainly needed when I first got started to keep me accountable to the goals that I wanted to achieve. Another option to complete step 2 is if you've got some more money set aside. So if you've got a few £1,000s and you want to skip the working things out from the book and you just want to follow step-by-step videos, then there is also the Dropship Unlocked Masterclass. That gives you access to another community, but this community is full of people that have really invested in themselves to build a business, and they'll often see faster and quicker results because they have step-by-step videos to watch. But if you've not got any money or got little money, then the Home Turf Advantage book is the best place to start. If you've got some money and you're ready to invest in yourself and you want to get to those results quicker and you want to be able to learn from more people that are already up and running with the business, then absolutely it's worth getting into a more advanced training program such as the Dropship Unlocked Masterclass. Now, step 3 is about choosing the products that you're going to sell and make sure it's a proven niche and sign all of the suppliers within that niche. So the way we do that, we need to brainstorm high-ticket dropshipping product ideas. So think about any products that you walk past and you see on a day-to-day basis that are above £300. You brainstorm that idea first, and then you'll pass it through the niche validation criteria until you get to the end of that criteria and you have a proven niche at the end of that process that you can believe in and go fully into start selling. So that criteria involves checking the search demand, checking that there are already people selling those products, checking the price consistency, making sure the average price is above £300. And there are 9 different criteria to check so that you can go from having an idea about an expensive product to going all the way through until you know it's a successful niche to go into. Following the step-by-step guide will take you through that process, but the first thing is to choose a niche that's absolutely proven. It's more important if you've got lower startup costs and you've got less money to start with. It's more important that you choose a proven niche and you don't try and go into start selling products that aren't already proven to be selling. It's more important, the less money you have, that you choose a proven niche because it's costly to find out how to sell products that aren't already being sold. It's a lot lower cost to start selling products that are already being sold. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You'll have a lot more success selling products that are already being sold compared to bringing a new product to market. That brings me on to the next step as part of this, which is then to sign all of the suppliers within that niche that you're going into. So when you've got a niche of products, that gives you the idea then how to find suppliers for those products in this country or the country that you're selling into. And so once you've got that idea, you need to sign all of the suppliers that are selling those products in the country that you're selling. The reason I say sign them all is because, again, the less investment that you could invest in starting an e-commerce business, the more suppliers you need to sign. Because the more suppliers you have, is you're more likely to have a winning supplier with winning products within their range. And so it takes you less time to find out who the winners are. It takes you less money. So it's one of those things that I mentioned before. The less money you have, often it's the more work or some bit more effort that you need to put in to get up and running and started. So if you don't have money to invest and find suppliers quickly and invest in running ads for longer, the best thing you can do is sign a huge range of suppliers. Think maybe 20 plus suppliers before you start running ads. Now, step 4 is to create a really compelling offer for your customers before you start running ads. So this is a bit of a theme of this video. You need to wait longer before running ads if you've got less money to invest. That's because you need there to be a real success story from the very first week, from the first month with your ads. You can't rely on time and spending money and waiting for all your ads to work. If you haven't got much money to get started with, then you need to be more prepared when you do start to run ads. So the way you do that, have a massive range of suppliers as the first thing from the previous point, but secondly is to create a compelling offer. So we don't just want to compete with price. We don't want a discount for our customers. Think about what else you can provide for your customers. So again, a bit more work involved, but what can you give to your customers, like a free ebook or a guide to the products that you're selling or a brochure or something you can provide that will add value to that customer so they'll choose you over your competitors. Then the final step, now this is after you've got a business, you've got suppliers, you've got your niche set up, you've got your ads running. Once you've got all that in place, the fifth step is to focus only on investing in leverage. So what I mean by that is you need to be more sensible, more crude with the investment decisions you make if you've got less money to start with. So you can't have as many tests running when you first get started. So you need to invest in leveraged activities that are proven to give you a return from the very start. So they fall into three categories: either automation, outsourcing, or learning. So if you don't invest in one of those three things, you shouldn't invest anywhere else. It's either automation, outsourcing, or learning. And it goes in that order. So you should spend some time and money on automation software so that you can get removed from day-to-day menial tasks. That would be things like setting up AI bots that will make sure your prices and your stock is all kept up to date with your suppliers. And I've talked about that in a previous video about how to use AI for dropshipping. As well as that, automation software, setting up Zapier, making sure that you don't need to be doing menial tasks every day. The next step is then outsourcing. So it's hiring a virtual assistant. As soon as you're getting your first few sales coming through and you reinvest that profit, you want to hire virtual assistants. Often based in the Philippines, they do an amazing job. And that's the best money you can spend when you first get started. Because again, that will remove you from the day-to-day tasks quickly so you can focus your time on growing and scaling the business. And the third area of investment that I recommend now we're up and running is in learning. So now, if you haven't already got yourself into the Dropship Unlocked Masterclass, this would be the time now that you're up and running and you can reinvest profit. You join the Masterclass and you can continue to learn from others in your position and also start doing some advanced training using the Masterclass to find out more secrets about the email marketing that you can improve, or how can you use AI to generate more income for yourself, or how can you be tax efficient. It's all about learning at that point. How can you spend your money most wisely to get a fast return? So that's where you put your money once you're up and running, either automation, outsourcing, or learning. So that was my 5-step strategy to create a business with low investment. And hopefully there's some tips in there that you can pick up on, because there's some important points and there's things you do differently if you have less money to start with. That's the exact process that I would go through if I lost everything, if I had to start an e-commerce business again. That's exactly how I'd restart and build up my dropshipping stores again from the start. If I had no money, those are the steps that I'd follow. So hopefully that's inspiring and hopefully you can go through those as well. Remember, initially it's all about committing and taking the first action. Then you need to join a community and follow a step-by-step guide. The third step is choosing a proven niche that's already proven to sell and signing all the suppliers. The fourth step was then making sure you've got a compelling offer for your customers that differentiates you from competition. And the fifth step is to only invest in leveraged activities. Hopefully this strategy gets across the point that it's not about the money you have to start with. It's about the mindset and the strategies that you need to follow to get up and running. It will take some work. It won't be easy. It won't be a get-rich-quick scheme. But with time and effort, you can absolutely get to wherever you want to be. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, let me know in the comments and like, and also subscribe to the channel, because I know the majority of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So hit the subscribe button. And what I'd recommend for you to watch next is how I've used AI to boost my dropshipping businesses. And that video will be on the screen now. So until then, I'll catch you in the next video.